Welcome back to Legends in My Own Mind. Once more, one last round with the King of Thayer, the highest choke slam in Central Illinois history, the leader of Maximum Destruction, the next icon, the one, the only, your friend, my friend, Sage Ramsey.
Feels like the introduction keeps getting longer.
Well, that's
I like how you always change it too.
As I find out more, as we learn how great you really were, as you solidify your legendariness, legendhood.
Wait for it.
Your legend status.
Ah, yes.
We've got to convey the gravitas that comes along episode by episode.
Fair enough.
But sadly, this is the last one.
Oh,
It's been a hell of a ride.
Fun.
Three great weeks. One more to go.
This is it.
This one's fun. I'm not going to torture you. I'm not going to make you explain yourself. Maybe a little. But it should be easy this time. Because this week, we are in the spice rack with Sage. Picking his top 5 Survivor Series dream team.
Really gonna call this thing the spice rack, aren't you? Couldn't come up with anything in that week. You couldn't come up with anything better than the spice rack.
I don't think we're gonna get anything better than the spice rack.
Hey, probably not.
I think you need to start a show like Piper's Pit, Sage's Spice Rack.
Ooh. Think PWL let me have a segment?
Nope.
Didn't think so. It's going to have to be on my channel, I guess. Which I don't really do.
All right, man.
But anyways.
All right, man. So we're here. Survivor Series Dream Team.
Yes.
Kicking it off.
Survivor Series weekend. It's not here yet. Oh, it's past. No, it is past. No.
It's coming up.
No, it's not.
It's this weekend.
No, we're in December.
Oh. Yeah. It's the weekend we're recording it.
Yeah.
No, we missed
I
it.
threw you for a loop.
Yeah. I was like, what? Oh no, you're right.
You're so confusing.
I'm gonna edit that part out.
Yeah, me too.
I'm the one who looks stupid, so we're gonna cut that.
All right.
So, who's your team captain?
Team captain. I'm going to go with the craziest one on my team.
Okay.
My team captain is Ryder Piper.
Oh, all right.
I love this dude.
Yeah?
Because he from the first time I remember seeing him, he was off the chain. I mean, his interview skills. You never knew what he was going to say. One of his lines was, just when you think you have all the answers, I change the questions.
Yeah.
And that just it hooked me from the get-go, and I loved it. Powder keg. You never knew what you were going to get.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, he's my
Piper's
captain.
great. Piper's great.
He is my captain.
All right. Who's next?
One of my other favorite wrestlers. And this is so crazy because here I am. I'm pulling out these heel wrestlers, and I've worked most of my career as a face.
Yeah.
But Mr. Perfect.
Okay.
I've always loved watching him work. Classic matches with Bret Hart. His psychology, the way he worked his matches, absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
He's my number 2.
Yeah. What's your favorite Mr. Perfect memory?
Probably an Intercontinental title match with him and Bret Hart.
Oh, Madison Square Garden?
Yes.
Where he ripped his singlet,
ripped
got
his
ripped
singlet.
halfway.
Yeah. I love that match. It was great, yeah. My favorite Piper moment is Piper and Bret Hart Intercontinental title match. That was the way that match ended with the sleeper hold into the roll up.
That's one of my favorite matches. I love that match.
The remorse at the end and everything.
WrestleMania 8.
Gosh.
That's a great match. I show that match when my students are asking like, how do you tell a story in a match? What's it mean to tell a story in a match? Like go watch that. And it's not it's not the greatest match of all time. It's not necessarily the best story ever told, but I think it's one of the clearest stories ever told.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody who is not like somebody who has not studied wrestling, a casual fan, a student who's just trying to figure it out. Like you can watch that match and go, "Oh, that's storytelling. That's theater. That's fucking Shakespeare."
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like you can see it so clearly in that match. That's why I love that. I love that match. I'm with you.
Hands down.
Yeah. I gotta disagree. Not disagree, but I guess disagree.
Oh.
Not trying to tell you you're wrong. A lot of people love that Mr. Perfect Bret Hart Intercontinental match. Mm-hmm. I've never been impressed with it.
Really?
I think it's I like both guys. I think it comes off a little sloppy. And
there were sloppy parts.
And I think the end feels a little rushed. It's a fine match. There's nothing wrong with the match, but like it's always one that I'm like people are like, "Oh gosh, that match." And I'm like,
I enjoyed it. That's all I'm saying.
And that's all that matters. Yeah. That's all that matters. And I'm not saying you shouldn't.
I'm not saying
anybody
the greatest. Yeah. I'm just saying I enjoyed watching that match, and I still watch it from time to time.
Yeah, I think my biggest perfect memory is that Royal Rumble where he came back, and it's Triple H and Stone Cold. I think maybe Angle was out there at that point, but he comes running out, and Triple H and Stone Cold are in the middle of the ring. And he just starts. He slides in and just starts taking it to both of them, and they kind of like cut him off and double team him. They back him up into the ropes, and they're trying to throw him out. Like as they're trying to throw him out, Mr. Perfect spits the gum, smacks it, and then fights them both off. It's. I'm just like that's okay.
That was always one of my favorite things with Perfect is that the gum thing and the towel behind the back.
Yep.
And Heenan, always having Heenan with him. I don't know, the whole dynamic there. It just worked for me.
I have mixed feelings on Heenan. But that's fine. That's fine. So.
Yes.
Number 3.
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Okay. Why Chris Jericho?
I liked him since I first saw him in WCW.
Yeah.
When he was doing the whole Lionheart gimmick and such. And his matches that he had with Ultimo Dragon, Psychosis, all that stuff, Rey Mysterio, it was all great. And then watching him develop over the years and becoming the first undisputed champion in WWE was great. There's just always been something about him that I've liked. And that's why I would want him on my team for that.
So I have that feeling, like kind of what you were talking about. Jericho's never been one of my like he's never been one of my favorites. He's never been on that level with me. I like him just fine. He's a great wrestler, but he's never been on that level with me. But he is one of the first ones that I do feel like I grew up with Chris.
Yeah, that's where I'm
for sure. He's and it's so because he was so young when he came in WCW, and even though I was in high school. Watching him on WCW during the Monday Night Wars, like when he came out, I was like, oh, that's a young guy just starting out, you know. Yeah. Even guys who had like the same career trajectory, like Chris Benoit.
Yep.
Chris Benoit was like a full-grown man when I was in high school on WC. So I don't have that same feeling like, oh, I watched Chris Benoit grow up. Chris Benoit was like a full-grown man.
Chris Jericho was not too much
right. Chris Jericho was like young.
Yeah.
He was a little bit older than us, but like, and then he grew up and went to WWE and learned and developed. So I definitely have that same. Yeah.
It was you got to. It was almost like a storybook. You got to see him here at WCW and just watch him grow from there. And that's all he did was keep growing.
Right.
So that's why I feel like he should be on my team, because I always liked his position, and then sometimes I didn't, and it was just like it was always something good to follow, and that's why I was like, he's definitely on my team.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Number 4?
Number 4, this guy was always rough and tough, and I loved watching him when he got in the ring, because he just he made everything so strong and to the point, and that's why I want him on my team, and that's William Regal.
Okay.
Strong to the point. His style it was, at the time I first saw him, I'd never seen anything quite like it, because you would see the guys do their thing, and then you see him get in there, and you just see him grinding them forearms in, and that was really my first time seeing somebody take that much aggression on somebody, and then just watching him throughout the years, also in WCW, and then go on to WWE, because the first time I saw him, he was Lord Steven Regal.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, this guy.
First time I saw him, he was William Regal. And he was a man, a real man's man. I mean, so I had watched WCW before that. I know I had seen him before that, but that's my first memory of him is
See, I remember seeing him with Lord Christopher Taylor.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, he was, because he was one of the Blue Bloods.
Yeah, the Blue Bloods.
Yep, for sure.
And then just his aggression overall during his matches.
Nasty.
That, and he's such a technician. Yeah. I didn't give him as much credit as a technician until I started going back and looking and just seeing the way that he would go into a move and just work it into the move.
He's a worker's worker.
Yes.
He's a wrestler's wrestler. And
he's a man.
I'm really glad that, because he really did find kind of a niche when he was doing the commissioner stuff later in WWE, and I'm glad that he really got a chance to be recognized. Because there are guys. I liken him to Greg Valentine. Mm-hmm. The casual fan does not appreciate how good of a wrestler Greg Valentine was.
Yeah, and
he had his time in the sun, and he was in that very famous match with Roddy Piper, that dog collar match. Okay, what I mean? But if you a fan now doesn't remember Greg Valentine and probably won't ever go back and find out about him, Nope. That probably will know William Regal and remember seeing him. He was the first one to kiss Vince McMahon's ass. And, I think he got didn't he get peed on one time by some? Didn't Big Show pee on him or something? I think he did some.
Yeah, something
he did some goofy stuff. He did some goofy stuff. He got some stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
That is memorable stuff that I think, even though it's a shame he won't necessarily be remembered for what a great in-ring technician he was.
Really sad, because he was so.
Yeah, but at least he'll be. But that if people remember him as the commentator or the commissioner or Regal, that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll want to go back and look and be like, oh, he was a wrestler? Well, look at this match. You know what I mean?
Crap.
More so than anyone ever will with Greg Valentine. Man, not to throw Greg Valentine under the bus or anything.
Yeah, not to do that, because he's a pretty cool guy.
But he never had that. He just, other than that match with Piper, he just never quite got that moment.
Yeah.
Regal's a great one. Before we go to your final,
yes,
and while we're talking about Greg Valentine,
oh boy,
any honorable mentions you need to throw out there?
Yeah, I have a great memory of Greg Valentine from Windy City Pro.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because he was booked there quite regularly.
Oh okay.
I've just gotta throw this out there. We did a show in Springfield, and this is right whenever I first started.
Mm-hmm.
and at Windy City.
Yeah.
Greg Valentine shows up. I'm this young kid, punk, whatever, and that almost didn't go together very well. I'm this young.
It's all right. It's all right. Yep.
What did he call himself?
You caught it. You caught it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
And
you're young punk.
Son of a biscuit. Anyways, it was my job to help usher in the people from their cars and stuff and help them with their bags. And I'm like, all right, so here's Greg Valentine. He shows up from Chicago, flew in, shows up to Springfield, and I'm helping him in. He's like, hey there, young buck. And I'm like, hey. He's like, I'm Greg. And I was like, Troy. Gives me his bag, and he's like, all scarf over his face or a towel or something.
Right. Got to kayfabe it.
Yeah,
don't want to get mobbed by all the rabid Greg Valentine fans.
Whatever it was. I'm a little under the weather. Okay. Right. It's
I bet he was
89 and sunny. Hello.
You can't help when you get sick, man.
Yeah, I guess not. But I help him in there. He just this whole time saying he's sick. And I was a young rookie, and the whole night he was like, you're following me around and doing this and that. And Sam kept asking all night where I was. I was Greg Valentine's bitch. That's where I was. And Sam was like, it was going to be somebody. And I'm just like, you could have told me. But honorable mentions. Without those other guys, Greg Valentine would not have been on there, but I had to tell you that list.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
I would have loved to have had... we were talking about him earlier, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, and whatnot. I would love maybe to substitute, but I just don't, I feel like I've got the perfect team. So
no. I mean, that's why I asked for honorable mentions.
I would totally put probably Scott Hall on there, or maybe go back and get the British Bulldog. Okay. Because I like the British Bulldog.
Oh, British Bulldog.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
it. He's one. British Bulldog's one that it seems like he's very I don't know, divisive maybe.
Yeah.
Like some people you're either British Bulldog whatever, like me, or you're like British Bulldog, hell yes, British Bulldog.
Well, see, I'm on the fence about it because I really I liked him. And I really loved, I super was happy whenever him and Hart had that match for the Intercontinental title. Yeah. And he finally got it and whatnot.
Right.
And, but I really liked his heel stuff whenever he was the European champion. Yeah. And he had Owen and Yoko and Cornette and all them guys with him.
Yeah.
That was really fun to watch him.
He did some good work then.
And, so yeah, British Bulldog, and since I mentioned Owen, Owen's another guy I would not be, opposed to having. Yeah. But yeah, those are the other guys. I loved watching that, and then that could just be young childhood, me growing up.
Yeah, all right,
lots of fun.
So who's your anchor? Who's the final member of Sage of Spices?
You son of a bitch. That's. Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, you mark.
I am. But I mean, come on. It's Shawn Michaels. For the love of God, I love that guy.
Yeah? What are your Shawn Michaels memories?
Let's see here. First memory is when him and Janae got screwed out of the tag team titles because of the rope break situation.
Okay.
Even though that wasn't even a taped thing.
Right.
So I was just I heard about it. In the magazine, it read they won the belts.
Yep.
And then it comes back to where they didn't have the belts on TV. So it was it never happened. And I was just like, okay, that sucks. Because I get the magazine before I saw it on TV or some shit. And then after that, the Rockers were just badass. It was great. The Barbershop. And then after the Barbershop, it was just the Intercontinental stuff, which I paid attention to and I liked, and it was a lot of fun to watch different things, but it didn't really kick off more until I think I really want to say all his work with Razor Ramon and Scott Hall, the ladder matches and stuff like that. And then it was just like I was a mark for both of them. Mm-hmm. I didn't know who to cheer for at that point because it was so great. But seeing him go off after that and the boyhood dream of winning the championship, and we all had those damn dreams of being the champion. Yeah. And the match with Bret Hart, to me, that match went too damn long.
The Iron Man match that was set for an hour.
I know it was great, but it went over an hour.
It was supposed to be an hour.
I know, but I was so tired of watching the match at that point that it was still so great, and I was just so torn. And I'm like, who's gonna win? Is anybody ever gonna win? And granted, that was so long ago. Yeah. You're a young kid-ish, and it was great. Finally seeing it, and you're like, oh, yes, it's all great. Thank you, Jose Lothario, whatever the hell. And then going on to seeing everything he's done since then, Mr. WrestleMania, Mr. Hall of Fame, all the good stuff. I mean, what can you not say about him?
Man, nothing that ain't already been said, I don't think.
No kidding.
It's a good team. I like your team. I like your picks.
Oh, yeah, could it beat your team?
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out someday.
Yeah. When's somebody finally going to be able to ask you that question?
Unfortunately, that brings us to the end.
Oh, you son of a...
4 weeks. It's been a blast. I had a blast sitting down and chatting with you. I mean, we've been up and down this road together. We've been, started around the same time. Definitely found our footing through New Midwest at the same time.
Yes.
Man, closest brothers, I consider you, I consider you a legend in my own mind. I consider you a brother in my own heart. Man, anything you want to say before we wrap it up? Anything you want to leave all the little spice heads and all the little everybody out there?
First it was a spice rack, now there's spice heads. Oh, man. I just want to say thank you to you for having me. Everything we've been through over the, what do we got, 18 years? I don't know, together? Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. It's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a damn thing. I thank you to everybody that's been a part of my career, and my career's far from over. Yours is far from over. Yeah. And from here on out, I mean, it's just I'm gonna have fun.
Good.
And that's it. Thank you. Nothing, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys for joining us. We will be back next week. A new, all new legend, kicking off a new series. I'm excited. I can't wait for you all to see who it is. It's going to be great.
Hey, that's awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.